shit, there's a hornet's nest up there. That's not good.
Come on, you pe-
So I've been getting a lot of questions lately from younger kids that are wanting to get into the trade about if they should go to trade school or not, because they've seen a couple of my videos and I've talked about different options that you have in order to become a technician. And my opinion varies. Everybody has their own opinion. My opinion is based on just my life and how I got into the trade. But essentially, my opinion on it is I don't think you should spend 40 grand to go to a trade school just to become a lube tech somewhere for 2, 3, 4 years. I don't think it's worth the 40 grand and what you learn in that trade school for a couple years. I don't think it's worth paying the 40 grand in order to just get into the field. I think your best option is to find a shop that'll let you start from the bottom and work your way up. And that's how I did it. You know, I got a shop at a little independent German shop that basically just needed someone that can run errands, deliver parts, wash cars, clean the toilets, whatever. And that's the job I took. It only took me about a year of doing that before I was given a bay and started, you know, doing oil changes and brakes and all the simple stuff on cars. And I think that's the best way to go because I got paid. I had a job that worked full time. I got paid and I learned on top of that, and I wasn't in debt 30, 40 grand. And, you know, that kind of taught me the bare basics of tools I needed and, you know, what I liked to do on cars, what I didn't like to do on cars. The problem with trade schools is you go in for a certain trade. So automotive, diesel, motorcycle mechanics, whatever you think you're interested in. But say you go to school for diesel and then you realize you don't like working on diesels. You don't want to work on big trucks. So what are you supposed to do after that? You know, you already spent 30 grand, 40 grand on that trade school and you want to learn, you know, gas or motorcycles, whatever the case may be. So in that essence there, I say just find a job at a shop. You're going to have to work at the bottom. You're going to have to clean toilets. You're going to have to do all the stuff that most people don't want to do. It's not a glorious job. It's not cool to tell people that you know, deliver parts and maintain the employee bathroom, but after a couple years you'll be debt-free and in a trade, and you'll have more knowledge, I guarantee you, than most of these people that I have dealt with coming out of trade school. And don't get me wrong, like, going to a trade school isn't bad. You learn your basics, but for 30 to 40 grand, you can learn your basics while getting paid. Back in my day when I was at the dealership, we would get a lot of techs that would come in that were entry level that just got out of trade school, and the dealership 95% of the time is going to put you on the quick lube line, which means you're doing oil changes, tire rotations, tire replacements, you know, all the basic boring services. And at Toyota, the 4 or 5 years I was there, I think I saw one person from Lube Tech move up in the company. Sometimes you can, you know, become an apprentice, but you're basically working at the bottom of the barrel again, doing all the work for, you know, a quarter of the pay. A lot of these lube techs that moved up to an apprentice position didn't get a pay raise, and they just had to now accrue a bunch of debt on tools in order to make a bunch of money for the tech that they worked under. So I would also oppose, you know, trying to get your foot in the door at a dealership, because the dealership's only going to push you into the quick lube bay. They're not going to move you into, you know, the main shop where you're going to learn how to work on cars. So from my experience and a bunch of buddies that I have, we've all learned from going to an independent shop and basically just learning from the ground up. And as long as they see that you have the drive, you have the mechanical aptitude, you should be fine. And if they see that you can progress and that you understand cars and that you understand, you know, what you're doing and that you want to learn, you want to invest in yourself, they're just going to move you up. And you're going to move up way quicker than if you go to a dealership where you work with 30 other guys and the service manager is never going to notice that you're taking the initiative to get better at this trade. So that's why I don't really recommend going to a dealership to get your foot in the door. You need to go to a small mom and pop shop where you can, I don't know, be noticed a little bit more, I guess is what I'm trying to say. The only other argument that I hear about going to a trade school is that you get a discount on like Snap-on tools, for instance. So when you attend a trade school, you basically are a student, so you get student pricing on Snap-on tools. And I think it's, I don't know for sure, but I think it's 25% off. Which, if you think about it, is cool because you're buying tools at a discount that you're going to use for the rest of your career. But the problem with that is you don't know what tools you need. You don't know what you like to work on yet. You know, you're just learning the bare basics of automotive or the bare basics of diesel. You don't know if you want to get into electrical. You don't know if you want to get into hybrids. You don't know if you want to get into EVs. You're just learning the basics. Not only have you paid 30, 40 grand for a degree in automotive that you don't really need, you are, you know, also buying tools that you don't know if you need either. So you're putting yourself in more debt. And that's why I think working at an independent shop, you can jump from shop to shop. If you don't like, if you go to a diesel shop and you don't like that, you can go to a regular automotive shop. If you don't like that, you can go to a motorcycle shop. But then once you kind of figure out where you want to work, that's when you know what kind of tools you need to buy. You know, you may not need a massive toolbox if you just work on ATVs and motorcycles. Or you may not need, you know, certain types of tools if you go to one field compared to the other. So that's why going to a trade school and getting that student discount on the tools isn't really a benefit either. And I can tell you from my personal experience that I was at the shop, I was at the German shop where I first started. I was only there for a year before I started working on cars, and then I started buying my own tools after that, because that's when I started working on cars. And I really bought the bare minimum. And I can tell you from personal experience, being a tech for 14 years, that going to a trade school isn't going to make you a mechanic. If you don't have the mechanical aptitude, if you don't understand how things work or how to fix stuff, if you don't have that talent to be a technician, going to a trade school isn't going to give you that talent. You kind of just got to have it. You got to know how to look at mechanical parts and understand how they work, how they come apart, how they go back together, stuff like that. So if you think you want to get into automotive, but you don't really have the skill sets, you're not really good at working on cars, you don't understand, you know, all the bare basics of mechanical aptitude, if you will, I guess, I don't know. Spending money on you know, a trade school to get into automotive is really a bad idea. I would look at getting into a different trade if that's the case, because going to a trade school doesn't make you good at that trade. You have to have that knowledge, that skill set in order to do it. And I am a testament to it. You know, I started at a shop as someone washing toilets and cleaning the floors and delivering parts, and now 14 years later, you know, I've made it to the six figures, and I have a full set of tools, and I'm really good at my job, but I also keep trying to learn. I keep progressing. You don't need to go to a trade school in order to get training, in order to learn all the newest technologies and all the new car systems and everything like that. There's so much training in the aftermarket side of this field that you don't even have to pay for. A lot of times, if you work at a good enough shop, your shop will pay for your training to learn these systems, especially if you're interested in them. You know, if you want to get into Teslas and you're working at a shop and they think that getting into Teslas would be a good market for them, they're going to pay for you to go to that training, and in most cases, they're going to pay you to go to that training. So they'll pay for the classes, and they'll pay you for that day, 2 days, a week, whatever it is, to go to that training course. So you're getting paid to learn. Again, You don't need to go and pay someone else to teach you the bare basics so that you can get thrown into a quick glue bay and still be lost and be kind of stuck in a dead end, a loop of just doing oil changes for years until you know, find some place that's willing to actually invest in you. My biggest advice while I'm trying to focus on, oh shit, there's a hornet's nest up there. That's not good. I'm gonna have to yank that out. Anyways, sorry, I'm getting distracted trying to clean my shed. But really, my opinions on it is to not go to a trade school. Don't let the recruiter at the trade school tell you, you know, you're gonna get all your money's worth out of this course and you're gonna know how to fix everything on a car and this is gonna teach you how to be proficient at flat rate, because that's another giant lie that I was told as a kid when I was trying to get into a trade school, is we're gonna teach you how to make money at this. But the reality is they can't teach you how to make money in this trade, because cars break in weird ways and you have to learn a process in order to diagnose a car and fix it in a timely fashion that's faster than flat rate, because most techs nowadays are flat rate. And you know, these trade schools don't teach you how to be proficient. They don't teach you how to beat book times. They purposely make faults and problems on these cars that the teachers already know are existing, and they just teach you the basic process on how to find a short, or how to diagnose a bad fuse, or how to see why a cylinder is misfiring. But it takes a lot of time and experience in the field in order to learn how to do that proficiently and with the least amount of work possible, with the highest quality possible, so that you can make the most money possible. All they're going to teach you in trade school is this causes this issue, this is how you find this problem, you know, this is what makes an engine go, this is what makes a transmission go. But once you get out into the field and you start getting these cars that are all broken in random spots and you have to try to figure out how to learn them and how to diagnose them, you're still going to be, you know, it's still going to feel like you didn't go to school, because you're going to be lost. So you need to just work at a shop with a bunch of experienced techs that you can ask questions and get a feel for where you want to work and what you want to work on and what kind of tools you need without going in debt. Get paid to work, get paid to learn, and it's going to help you in the future with, you know, not having student loan debt, not buying tools that you don't need, and just, I think it's better. You know, I think a lot of these trade schools are getting out of hand with how much they cost. You know, $30,000, $40,000 for automotive degree is insane, in my opinion. I think it's way too much. And I've never, any job I've ever applied for, I've never been asked if I have an automotive degree or if I have even a high school diploma. I've never been told that I need to show that I have a high school diploma. It might be different in other countries, but in the US, like, at least in this trade, they don't care if you've graduated high school. If you can read, you can do math, and you can work on cars, that's all that matters. So, thanks for watching. I know this video is a little weird and awkward. I'm trying to clean and make a video at the same time and multitask, which probably isn't my biggest strength. But yeah, until next weekend. Thanks.